everyone, it's Ketchy, aka OBGem. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you can be notified for all future videos. Also, if you like what you see, do hit the like button so I know to keep making content like this. So for this particular speed build, it's a little bit special because this is part of an Autumn in Brindleton Bay collab that I am doing with a bunch of different simmers. The list is miles long. They're all incredible. They all do amazing builds and they're just all around great simmers, and I'm so honored to be part of this collaboration. But all of the links and information to their videos and their channels is in the description box below, so don't forget to open that up to see that. I'll also be linking the playlist that has each of our videos in there. But the theme for this collaboration, as you can probably tell from the title of it, Autumn in Brindleton Bay, it's builds that are just celebrating an autumnal feeling, a tone, but also the other caveat was that it had to include some aspect of animals or pets or something like that. So everybody had really great ideas as far as how to interpret that. Some people did animal sanctuaries or vet clinics or cat cafes. I initially went into this thinking I was going to have like a cat cafe as mine, and I wanted to do a cafe with a little apartment on the top, have it be like a cat lover's cafe they own and lived at the top of, but the inspiration just didn't strike me to be able to come up with a build for that. It took me a minute to find something that inspired me for this build, but I came across this picture on Pinterest, which I can probably pop into the video right here. But this build, it just really spoke to like autumn tones and colors to me. I've been on a modern home kick for a minute. The last like true speed build I did before I did the base game starter was a modern home. And I don't know what it is about them. Like, I feel like a modern home's just really, they make them let me gather myself. I find the builds to be very clean and easier for me to wrap my head around. It's just easier for me to jump into making a modern build versus a suburban or something like that of that nature. So despite the fact that Brindleton Bay doesn't really have any modern homes, I actually looked at because I don't actually build a whole lot in this world. I have one build and I'm in progress building in this world, but I don't really build in Brindleton Bay a whole lot, and I don't play in it a whole lot. So I actually had to go around and look at some of these Brindleton Bay houses just to make sure like how much of a sore thumb my build was gonna be, and it is a little bit. But the thing I love about this lot, the Hindquarter Hideaway lot, is it's away from the town. So in my mind, it would make sense that somebody who wanted to live in a house that's not necessarily in line with everything in town would build it on top of the hill away from everything to kind of separate themselves. But the actual Brindleton Bay houses in this world, they have like an old world feel to them, because a lot of them use that They use an outside covering that looks like weathered roof tiling to me, and a lot of the builds in this world have that, and I'm not a huge fan of that texture, so I obviously didn't use it for my build. And it is, again, like, this is a very modern build and interpretation of what I would want to live in if I was living in Brindleton Bay. So the one thing I'm most excited about with this build was I was able to get a whole lot of use of out of the new platforms that we have in build mode now. And I know it's kind of like a love-hate situation a lot of simmers have with the platforms right now, because they are a little bit of a challenge to use in your builds, as I think they're a little buggy. They're a little buggy, and what I found while using the platforms is that it's best when you work with them instead of trying to fight against them, because the platforms will fight you. as far as trying to use them in builds, and it was a little bit frustrating in that sense when I was trying to fight against the platforms, but when I just let them be and do their thing, they actually turned out quite nice. My favorite use out of the platform was I always bemoaned not being able to have attached car garage with like a house that's on a foundation. And this house isn't on a foundation, but I did, as you saw from the beginning, put it on a giant platform. So the platform's actually taking the guise of a foundation in this house as it's raising it above the garage level, which is how a lot of houses are with attached garage. The actual main house is raised slightly above the garage. And before we got these platforms, there was no way for you to do that. So I'm glad I got to do that. But with the staircase, I actually fiddled with this a whole lot. As you can see, platforms jumped up when I was doing it. But like my favorite trick I did with the staircase was using the different sized half walls we have now, which I love them. But I actually did, what I did with the staircase is I framed it in two different sizes of our many exhausted sides of half holes now. I framed it with that instead of using a stairwell. And the reason why I did that is I don't like how the stair handrails clip through the walls when you use them. I really detest it. So what I've been doing with that new every size half hole we have is just been framing the staircases with them, as I did there with the little like up and it's hard to describe, but it kind of gives the illusion of like a handrail without using the handrails, which is my favorite. But I am doing the floor plan upstairs now, as you can see. And this house is actually very simple, but very small also. I honestly don't like making these types of houses, and by that what I mean is from the outside the house looks fairly big, like at least like 2 or 3 bedrooms, but when you go inside there's 1 bedroom. And I know like it's really hard to make an aesthetically pleasing house in The Sims that's like moderate in size and has a whole lot of bathrooms, so it's like not out the norm that you'd see a speed build of a house of this size and there's like only 1 bedroom inside. I personally just don't like doing it because it's very disappointing to me to see like, oh, this is such a huge, beautiful house, and then you go inside and it's 1 bedroom and there's 1 bathroom. I always love to economize or make the most out of the space. Like I will maximize a small space. In every build I do. That's honestly the reason why, like, if you've seen a couple of my speed builds by now, you'll notice that, like, my bedrooms tend to be on the smaller side, and the bathrooms tend to be on the smaller size, too, and that's just because I don't like to waste space on those things. Like, I will make it as small as possible that's still functional, because I am a functional player. I don't like to make a build that has things you can't use. So, it's very functional and as small as it can be while still being functional. But as you can see, I went back and did some of the landscaping. I did the landscaping in pieces because I don't like landscaping. You guys know that. I don't like landscaping. But I actually used those hedge bushes that I'm putting some of that like very bright dirt underneath, which I love the color of that dirt. I've never used it before, but it works here. But I actually lined the hedges up on the staircase that I made leading up to the door. I like moved them in so they covered the sides of it, because what happens when you use platforms to make stairs is that you only get like a limited selection of sightings for the platforms, and they didn't have any that matched what I wanted them to match for the staircase. And the only like workaround for that, as the gurus showed off in the gameplay live stream, is to use the every size half walls to just line them that way. But the issue with that is, so you use the half walls to do that, and now you've got a wider selection of half walls, or a wider selection of sightings you can put on your platforms. But the problem is it creates like this little like ledge, like a trim, and the trim's really ugly and doesn't match anything, and there's a limited selection of what color you can change the trim to. So I couldn't come up with a trim color that didn't look absolutely horrendous. So for the most part, I hid all the trim pieces except for that one piece on the left side of the top platform, and that's just because it's like the entrance has like an asymmetry to it, so that one exposed trim is going to be the bane of my existence. But I'm probably being weird and I'll be the only person that notices it, but it bothers me. But we are finally moving on to furnishing, and I decided to kind of go outside my box for furnishing this house. Typically, when it comes to furnishings, I like to use a whole lot of neutrals, but like I like to keep it bright, because one thing I hate about Max's builds is that they're very brown on the inside and they're very dark and dim. And so I like for my builds to be bright and but very classy and classic with neutral colors. This one is very bright, and that's because the story I went with this house is that it's a woman who lives here with her dog, a little Yorkshire, and she loves him to pieces, but she also loves animals in general, and she's very eccentric. Thus, the color scheme is it's wackier than what I would go with. So, like, I don't think I've ever used this mint color with these parenthood counters before. I use a whole lot of bright colors in this build, a whole lot of bright yellows, some oranges around here, and I don't know, the color scheme just really grew on me. Like, I don't typically like super bright like that, but it just really works in this house. It's very pretty. But back to the story. She lives here with her little cute Yorkshire puppy. She loves him to pieces, but she loves animals in general. So she moved here thinking that she would start a business, being a breeder or something of that nature. And she was really drawn in particular to cats. Like, she really discovered that she is a latent cat lover, despite the fact that she has had her dog her whole life and loves him. So she planned to come here, and she thought maybe she might do something with cats. Maybe she might be like a groomer or something of that nature. But when she moved here, she actually gotten really terrible news that her little Yorkshire puppy, he is, getting on up there in the years, and he doesn't have much longer. So because of that, she's put off any thoughts of getting any additional pets or doing anything with other pets, because she wants to give all her attention to her dog. But for that reason, she still has in the back of her mind that she wants to have cats. But side note, I'm doing this little window seat right here. So this version of it didn't make it into the final build because it was not functional. I thought for sure it would be, but I think I just layered too many seatings on top of each other, and the Sims did not know what to do as far as sitting there. I did want to show it just so you guys could see what that looked like. It would have been super cute if it worked. It didn't. In a minute you'll see what did work. I ended up taking that out and removing it and placing in a platform instead, and it actually created a very cute functional window seat, and I am so proud of it. The only thing is those little poofs I use, so they look a whole lot like the little ottomans we have in game, but those actually are not. Those are CC little poofs that look a whole lot like the ones we have in the game. I think they're slightly brighter than the ones we have in game, but I didn't realize they weren't the in-game ones until I went to go save it and saw it was modern. I'm like, impossible. I didn't use any CC items. And then thank goodness for Tray Importer, because it told me that those were the items that were not in game. So the moral of the story, like, don't get CC items that look like in-game items. Otherwise, if you try to make a no CC build, you'll drive yourself crazy. But back to the story. So in the back of her mind, she still has in her head that she wants to do something with cats, have cats, maybe, but like she doesn't want to do it while her dog's still alive because she feels guilty. giving her attention to some other animal while he is in the twilight of his life, and she just wants to dedicate all her time and attention to that. So, but it doesn't stop her from still looking and thinking about what it's like to have a cat. So she actually has like a nasty habit of just like going onto her computer, onto like, I don't know, like Sims Bay or something, Plopsy maybe, looking at different cat items. But so she'll like buy the items for cats, and then she'll squirrel them away in the little garage area to keep, and then she like just keeps guilt buying this stuff and hiding it because she doesn't want her little Yorkie to see. She thinks her Yorkie will just like feel extra betrayed if he sees that she's been buying cat stuff. So you'll see in a minute, or maybe I already did it in the build. I am losing where I am as far as progress in this build, but you'll either already saw it or you'll see in a minute that I put like a whole lot of cat items in the garage area because those are her regret buys for the cat. So there's a whole lot of cat items in there as far as like boxes and packages, because in my mind she buys things and some of the stuff she doesn't open as a way to kind of like stop attaching herself to the idea of getting this cat while her dog is still here. So in the garage area you'll see that, and also in the garage area I added like a garden thing because before she had in her mind to ditch the idea of doing something with pets, she thought maybe she'd get into gardening while she was here, and it's just like buried in the back of the garage now, like this little lone gardening like wall thing that was going to be the beginning of her like really doing garden stuff, and she just let it all fall to the wayside. She 100% focuses on her dog now. But to that end, that's honestly why I have, like, you'll see in the corner there of the kitchen, there's like a bunch of newspapers down. And once I get to furnishing the upstairs, you'll see that there's some newspapers upstairs in that area too. And that is because her poor little Yorkie, with him not having long left, his bladder faculties aren't what they used to be. So she feels really terrible about trying to force him to go use the bathroom outside. So she, like I said, she pampers this puppo to pieces now that he has not very long to go now. So she puts the newspaper down so that he can use that to go indoors. I know it's gross, but when you love your dogs and your animals, you'll let them do whatever when they're having a hard time. So that's what she decided to do. But you'll see now that I'm doing the garage area and including all these cat items like I mentioned before. And these are all the items she bought on like Plopsy or Sims Bay or what have you that she kind of like regret bought and then stored away in here so her Yorkie wouldn't be able to see it. But while I'm decorating this garage area, since I already explained the story behind this garage, I do want to take a minute and like hop back over to the living area. So you may not have noticed, but when I was trying to put curtains on that little window seat area, I was having the hardest time. And this is me going back to the whole story of when you work with the platforms and let them do their thing, they're amazing, they're incredible, right? But when you try to fight against them, they are a pain in the rear end. Because what happens with the platforms, unfortunately, and I don't know if this is a glitch with the platforms or if this is just the way they work, but once you start lifting the platforms up so that they come up from the ground, from the wall, it makes placing curtains impossible, because it's like the curtains don't know what to do with themselves. They want to place where it makes sense for where the wall height is, right? But once you have a platform there, the ground and the wall height goes all out of whack, right? So it's like the curtains don't know how to place themselves. And I'm really hoping this is a glitch, because if it's not, it's going to make furnishing houses, decorating houses, like nearly impossible, because if you can't accurately place curtains on these windows without them going nuts and crazy and not placing correctly, then it's gonna be a nightmare. Like, I know a bunch of builders are going to just be like, it's gonna make a whole lot of people not want to use the platforms as much, is really where it's going. So I'm hoping that is a glitch that fixes itself. But keeping with the eccentric-ness of this house, I did use the Snowy Escape new tiles we got for the bathroom. I actually used them both in the bathroom and the laundry room area, which is a choice. I meant to have the laundry area have different decorating than the bathroom, but what happened was I initially wanted the bathroom to be in that long room out in front there, but then I like changed my mind and then changed it back because I don't like a big bathroom. As I mentioned, I find them awkward to furnish when they're too big, right? Because I feel like most people don't have gigantic bathrooms. I don't. It'd be nice if I had a slightly bigger bathroom than the one I had. I wouldn't want to, trouble anybody with the bathroom I have now. It's teeny tiny, and I don't want a bath. I wouldn't want someone to have a bathroom quite as small as the one I have right now. But when I think of like bathroom sizes, I always think about the size of the bathroom I had in the house I lived in growing up, which was, a moderate sized bathroom. It's not like anything gigantic. I feel like outside of like McMansions and like actual large homes and mansions, most people don't have like super huge bathrooms. It's not like a normal thing. But I do understand, like in The Sims, the utility of having a bigger bathroom. It makes routing a whole lot easier. Your Sims are less likely to get stuck. I just find them awkward to furnish when they're like that square shape of what's going to be the laundry room in a minute. To me, that's like an awkward sized bathroom. It may just be me. It may be my own quirk, but I just find them awkward. But I don't know. I like the way that this bathroom turned out despite it being like an awkward long shape. I have like a bathroom I have to furnish in the other Brindleton Bay build I'm working on that's this size, and I've been putting it off because I just thought the shape was so awkward to fill and I didn't know how to furnish the bathroom really. But doing it here helped me, and knowing how to do it there. So I'm glad I was able to make this weird long bathroom work. But the laundry room is also super cute. I used like a bright yellow wool carpet in there, which I thought I was getting to the laundry room, but I think it's gonna be a minute before we get there. Okay, I'm starting there now. I used like a yellow carpet there that I think just brightens the place up. It looks amazing, and I think just having a carpet there, it just like somehow transforms this room so it doesn't look like a clone to the bathroom, which I love. I did put like a pet bed there. There's 3 pet beds in this house. There's one downstairs in the living room area, one in the bedroom, of course, and I put one in here because my thought was that the little Yorkie likes to come in here while there's laundry drying because it's warm. So he comes in there to sleep while the laundry's drying, which is cute. But you won't see it here because I playtest normally after I do the build. But I did end up having to size down and slightly adjust things as far as the pet beds everywhere. Because for some reason I thought that Sims will walk over the pet beds like carpets, right? Because they lay flat on the ground. But apparently they don't, or at least they don't intentionally. Like when it comes to like routing something, when it's not in the way of a path, they'll walk over them. But if it's in the way of a path, they act like they can't walk over them, like it's blocking the way. So I had to move the pet bed in the bedroom and the size down the pet bed in the laundry room so that a Sim can go in there and use the things in there. So just a side note. But the bedroom area was the quickest furnishing because I just wanted to make the furnishing simple. She's about her dog. She's not really about much else. The only highlight piece in here is I did put the laptop and desk table in here because that's where she does her impulse cat buys. And then I put more pet stuff in there because, like I said, she's about her dog. There are pet things downstairs and there are pet things upstairs. And of course, there's the newspapers that she puts down so that her little alien Yoki can just use the bathroom in her room. I know that's gross, but she does it for her baby. The last place I'm furnishing is this balcony. Super simple, just a rocking chair and like a little table for drinks. She just sits out here with her puppo sometimes to see the scenery and drink and rock. But before we get to the end of this, because I don't have too much left, I ended up circling back and finishing the landscaping in the backyard. Like I told you guys, I did the landscaping in pieces because it's my least favorite thing. But before I get too deep in, I forgot to do it, I do want to give a quick shout out. Like I said, we have a whole lot of us doing this collab. So, of course, I want to shout out Princess Jasmine, because she is the one who organized the whole thing. And she's just been a great ally to have in this journey. She's always out there supporting other simmers, and she has incredible videos herself and a very cute LP that she does for Eagle Lifestyle that I love to watch while I'm working. So shout out to you, Princess Jazz. You are amazing. We love you. And I do want to give another special shout out to Gem Sims. She was a little bit worried about getting her Autumn in Brindleton Bay collab out on time. I think she did end up uploading even before me, so I'm probably bringing up the rear on this one, so it may not help too much for me to say anything, but I do want to encourage you guys to hop over to her channel and watch her Brindleton Autumn in Brindleton Bay video. She's just worried that maybe hers might be up late and no one will watch, but look, if you're watching mine, which is probably going to be the latest one, please go watch hers, support hers, and of course support everybody's and this collab, because everybody's been so great working on this. Everybody's worked so hard on their builds. It's just been really amazing. I kind of procrastinated and did mine in the 11th hour, which is why mine's going up super late, but I hope you guys enjoy this. I had a whole lot of fun putting this together and just making sure that the colors popped for autumn. We don't have too much left in autumn. I feel like in the US, Thanksgiving is around the corner, and I feel like Thanksgiving marks the end of autumn for me because it's like the day after it's winter. But like, I hope you guys are able to enjoy this. Maybe you guys can watch this on the big turkey day if you're in the US, or just regular. And that's it, you guys. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you can be notified for all future videos. And don't forget to hit the like button so I know to keep making content like this. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay dazzled. I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Trying to work your way back. You're searching for a fix, but it's self-love you lack. Your eyes are wide open, you see it all. You made me look, you made me fall. You had me, I had you, made me wait. Now I'm running out of patience. I'm running out of patience, out of patience. Yeah, you keep me waiting. I'm waiting, done waiting. I'm running out of patience. You kept me at a distance, you barely let me in. I kept on trying, and you kept me away.